Now, if you're a small business looking for a bank loan, there's an important change on how you're going to be treated. Sean is here with all the information you need. Morning again.
Morning, yeah. How many times have we talked about businesses getting access to cash? Well, this is supposedly some answer from the government. Good morning, everybody. What's known as the Bank Referral Scheme kicks in today. So if you've applied for a loan at one of the big banks at some point and got turned down, the bank now has to point you in the direction of somewhere more likely to lend you some cash. Now, most of the money borrowed by businesses comes from big banks like these, but the Treasury says that more than a quarter of the small and medium-sized companies that apply for an overdraft or a loan with those banks last year were turned down. And of those, only 3% then found another way to get some money from somewhere. So from today, the banks will have to tell those companies about other probably more expensive options like peer-to-peer lending. We've spoken about that before. That's where you get matched up to another person who wants to lend you money. And there's a few different other ways as well. Now, one of the people running all of this, Katrin Herrling, Chief Executive and co-founder of Funding Xchange, one of the companies involved that almost acting as a middlewoman between the bank and whoever's lending the money next. How's this supposed to work?
Yes, so the idea behind this is that actually there are way too many businesses that are discouraged from looking for non-bank financing options. And the government here really wants to help these businesses, actually, if they have been turned down by a bank, not to stop looking for funding, but actually very easily access the wealth of alternative solutions that are out there for them. And the two barriers that they're trying to tackle is, one, that businesses don't think they're not fundable just because they've been turned down by a bank. It just means the bank can't fund you. But the second issue is, if you're then continuing to look for funding, where do you go? And this is where we're cutting through the noise.
But quite often, businesses only apply to one bank, and then they may get rejected and then go away and not apply to anywhere else. Might they actually just be better off applying to one of the other big banks like we've listed there, instead of going to more expensive places that you'd be offering?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't say that we're offering more expensive forms of finance. One of the things we're trying to do here is actually pull back all of the offers that are available to businesses. And they don't wake up in the morning and want to peer-to-peer finance. They want the best funding solutions. And so we are pulling back from challenger banks, from alternative finance sources, all of the options available. And that's really important to us. It's not about finding and introducing you to just expensive sources of finance. It's about what you need and giving you all of the choices and the control.
That sounds very familiar to, we might be more used to comparison websites when we're looking to change our energy bills, and they, in theory, push us in directions of good offers and where's best to do that. But they make money out of those referrals. That's how you'll make money as well. So how do businesses know that you're not actually just pointing them in the directions that are best for you and the people who's going to be lending them money, and not the business themselves?
Well, it's a fantastic point that you're raising there. First of all, yes, it's exactly right. We're like a comparison site. We actually, in fact, are working with Money Supermarket to provide business finance solutions for them. The way we're ensuring that we're absolutely unbiased and neutral to the funding sources that you select is actually very simple. We have the same terms set up with all of our funders. So if you're working with us, whether you choose a challenger bank or an alternative finance provider, or even go back and have funding from a bank provided, to us, it's the same incentive to introduce you. So absolutely, we have the best interests of our businesses at heart.
Katrin, thank you very much. So if you're after a bank loan today and you do get rejected by a bank, that process should change once they've given you that information.
And you're talking about premium bonds later.